When you think of the most prolific TV creators, who comes to mind? Shonda Rhimes? Chuck Lorre? Dick Wolf? What about Pepsi? The brand's been inserting itself into television since the 1950s. First, there was the Pepsi Cola Playhouse, a drama anthology series created by Lucille Ball. In the early 2000s came Pepsi's Play for a Billion, a high-stakes and highly silly game show special that featured a chimpanzee named Mr. Moneybags and, technically, the chance to win $1 billion. About a decade later, Pepsi partnered with the X Factor to release a new soda uncreatively called Pepsi X, then discontinue it several months later. In 2016, they worked with the show Empire for a plotline about shooting a Pepsi ad that unluckily starred the one person in the cast who'd go on to get super canceled. 5 years later, in 2021, probably taking advantage of at least one misappropriated PPP loan, Pepsi debuted another game show. This one exclusively for the purpose of selling a new wild cherry-flavored soda. The show, called Cherries Wild, starred Jason Biggs and a giant slot machine with pre-programmed spins. Just a few months later, Match Me If You Can premiered, a dating show named in celebration of the surprisingly perfect match between Pepsi and Mango. The first episode aired on MTV during the commercials of a different show's season finale. When the rest of Match Me If You Can was dumped onto YouTube and Cherries Wild was canceled after just one season, I thought Pepsi had finally given up occasionally sponsoring television. Imagine my surprise when I saw a snippet of ABC's new trivia show, Lucky 13.
That's it, you answered all 13 questions.
And that sound means it's time for Pepsi Play.
So I decided to check out more of Lucky 13 to figure out just what the heck Pepsi was up to this time. Spoiler alert, it's another half-baked game show. In every episode, people compete for the chance to win up to $1 million by answering 13 true or false trivia questions, then correctly guessing how many they got right.
There are just 13 true or false questions, and to win life-changing money, you don't need to know all the answers. You just need to know what you know and what you don't.
Except if you want to win the $1 million, then you do need to know all the answers.
So far, we've revealed 6 questions. All of them have been correct. You got 7 more to go, and you can't miss one, Warren. We have 6 more questions left. You can't get 1 incorrect, Warren. 5 remaining. You need 5 correct to go home a millionaire. The word mendacious is a synonym for honest. It's a synonym for dishonest. But I am not lying to you when I say you have 3 more and you must get all of them correct or you are going home with nothing.
After a contestant has finished answering all 13 questions, oh no, it's happening again.
And that sound means it's time for Pepsi Play. Pepsi Play. Pepsi Play. Pepsi Play. Pepsi Play. Pepsi Play. It's time for Pepsi Play.
Your 13 questions along with your answers are up on the board. Is there one you wish you could take back? Well, thanks to Pepsi. Thank you, Pepsi. You now have a chance to refresh one of those answers.
The Pepsi Play
Thank you, Pepsi.
gives contestants a chance to change one of their answers.
Thank you, Pepsi.
But a lot of people don't change anything because they only get a few seconds to decide. The Pepsi Play should be a tool to help contestants determine how many right answers they have, but instead it's mostly just a stressful gimmick that forces us to spend extra time on trivia questions we've already seen.
Thank you, Pepsi.
With their answers locked in, it's time for contestants to choose their lucky range.
Let's take a look at the lucky ranges. If you feel you got 1, 2, or 3 questions correct, and you did, you'll get $5,000. 10, 11, or 12, it's worth $100,000. And Barry, if you predict you got 13 correct, and you did, you're a millionaire.
And you can't have a lucky range without a lucky number to go with it.
So I'm gonna say that my range is about 7 to 9.
Now I need you to select a lucky number. The exact number of questions you think you got right. Hit that on the nose, and Shaq is going to dig in those big, beautiful pockets and give you an extra $25,000.
Now that we've read each question individually, reviewed them as a group, and decided how many were answered correctly, it's time to go through the questions one by one again to finally learn what's true and what's false. If a contestant is right about how many right answers they have, they win money. But if they answer too few or too many questions correctly, they lose. It's a very convoluted format. In every other quiz show throughout television history, probably, a right answer is good and a wrong answer is bad.
You ain't got to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is fine, girl. You ain't got to reinvent the wheel. Ain't nobody got to reinvent the wheel.
It feels so unnatural to get excited or hear people clapping after someone gives an incorrect answer. And I don't think I'm alone in that feeling, given the number of times each episode that host Gina Rodriguez has to remind the studio audience that in Lucky 13, wrong answers are a good thing.
Oh!
It's all right. That's all right.
It's all right.
All right. We want some incorrect. You were not correct. But that's okay. We want some incorrect, you guys. This is good. No! But that's okay. We want some incorrect answers. It's all right. We need some incorrect. Oh, but that's all right. We need
It's
incorrect.
okay. Oh.
That's all right. We need 2 incorrect, though, to hit that lucky number. It's all right. We need some incorrect. We need some incorrect. Oh. This is good. We need some incorrect. This is good. Okay. It's all right. We wanted some incorrect. Okay, that's a good thing. This is a good thing.
Even some contestants seem to forget how the format works, and I can't blame them, because when you hear the sound effect, it usually doesn't mean that you just won a 6-figure cash prize.
Get this question incorrect, and you are walking with $125,000. In California, parents can now use an emoji in their child's legal name. You answered true. We want it to be incorrect, right? For an extra $25,000. Were you correct, Ben?
So to recap, the format of this show, which runs in an hour time slot on ABC, is that someone is randomly chosen to play out of 13 people made to sit on stage in uncomfortable chairs. The second host, who's Shaq, by the way, asks that person 13 true or false questions. Then Gina Rodriguez rereads every question while giving the answer. You can lose by being right too much, and only 2 people get to play per episode. Sometimes, when Pepsi is feeling generous,
Thank you, Pepsi.
Game 1 and Game 2 are broken up by a Lucky Charms sponsorship called the Magically Delicious Minute.
2 of you will now get a chance to answer 1 true or false question, just for fun. The power of the balloon marshmallow is the ability to become invisible. True or false?
Definitely false.
It is false.
But that only happened twice in the 10 episodes I watched, and not even infrequent trivia about
Hearts, stars, and horseshoes, clovers and blue moons, unicorns, rainbows, and tasty red balloons.
can turn Lucky 13 into an entertaining show. It's repetitive and slow by design, and the more episodes I watched in a row, the more I realized that more than just Pepsi products, and sometimes General Mills, Lucky 13 is selling gambling in Las Vegas. There, Pepsi is king of carbonation, duke of soft drinks, and Kaiser soda, so long as you ignore the giant Coke bottle storefront on the strip. Plus, Pepsi's used to sponsoring game shows that incorporate gambling. Lucky 13 may not have a slot machine built for the Colossus of Rhodes like Cherry's Wild did, but it's still full of references to betting, or predicting as the hosts call it, and reminders that the show is shot in Las Vegas.
From Worry Studios in Las Vegas. Welcome back to Lucky 13 in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Las Vegas. Glamorous Las Vegas.
Lots of quiz shows intrinsically have betting elements, but Lucky 13 feels primarily like a subliminal reminder that Vegas gambling exists, and then like a TV show about true or false trivia. I think part of why that stuff seems more egregious in this show is because so little happens in an episode of Lucky 13, I've got nothing else to focus on. There's more rinsing and repeating than at the Paul Mitchell School, all campuses. Most of the trivia rounds feature about the same ratio of true to false facts, usually 6 to 7 or 8 to 5, except for this one pesky 9 to 4 board that tried to ruin my whole point. Since there's a 50% chance to answer each question correctly, most people guess that they were right about 50% of the time. Half the contestants used the Pepsi play.
Thank you, Pepsi.
But it only impacted the results twice. It helped this lady win $50,000, and it caused this lady to lose $50,000. Each question gets repeated twice, and so are the contestants' reasons for their answers.
Jellyfish existed on Earth before dinosaurs. True or false?
So there's some pretty old things on the earth, you know, like mushrooms and...
Jellyfish existed on Earth before dinosaurs. You remember that mushrooms have been around for a long time, right?
And I think jellyfish is right up there, like number 2.
The second half of every round is basically just a repeat of the first half. And when someone loses, they don't leave right away so they can be disappointed off camera and so we can move on with the show. Instead, they have to stand on stage as Gina Rodriguez goes through the rest of their answers while the sound effect plays after every single one.
I do have to reveal the last 2 questions for all those watching at home. The Great Barrier Reef completely encircles Australia. It's off the northeastern coast of Australia. I do have 1 question left to resolve for our beautiful audience at home. Actor Michael J. Fox's middle name is Andrew.
Okay.
1 last question. Let's take a look at it. Nick Cannon has 13 siblings. You were incorrect with that one too.
You really don't need to read the rest of the answers for me. I googled them during the first part, then watched half an episode of The Quiz with Balls while you reread all the questions. In an interview with the guy who created the show's format, Adrian Wolf, a veteran quiz show maker that helped create Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he says it was hard to get Lucky 13 made because networks thought it was too simple. How? Answering 13 true or false questions to win $1 million is a simple concept, but despite that, the format is intricate. Derogatory. Every episode, Gina Rodriguez has to re-explain what a lucky range is, what choosing a lucky number does, how the Pepsi play works,
Thank you, Pepsi.
and what it means when Shaq triggers an offer.
Wait.
Okay.
That's rhythm.
You know what that means?
Yeah, Shaq is the banker on this show, but at least we didn't have to wait until Lucky 13 Island to find out.
Shaq's triggered an offer. We are 3 away from your lucky range, 5 away from your lucky number. This is the last chance you'll have to leave here with guaranteed money. Let's see what it is. Oh, baby, $5,000 of guaranteed cash.
Each contestant gets 1 offer, usually toward the end of their round, but not always. So much for trying to figure out why Shaq makes the offers when he does. I'm also not sure why some people are offered half or more of the total amount they were trying to win, and other contestants fall just 2 correct answers short of the million, but only get offered $80,000. I'm not saying Shaq needed to pull a $500,000 offer out of his pocket. I wouldn't want him to get back pain from carrying all that cash around. But I also want the offers to feel legitimate and not like punishments the producers dole out when a contestant tries to game their game show too hard.
I do like playing around a little with math in my head, and I am pretty convinced that I should gamble higher than I think I've gotten. Even if I lose, I think the expected value would be higher if I do bet higher. So I am going to go all 13.
And I'm not blaming Shaq for the offers not making sense, or Gina Rodriguez for getting the same nothing response every time she asked a contestant's loved one their opinion on a question.
Let's see what your girlfriend said. Girlfriend Gina?
Well, Jonathan's dad was really into cars, so I trust his instinct, and I'm going to agree with him that it's true.
Let's see what your brother said.
False. I don't believe in my sister.
Believe in your sister. Let's ask your friend about it. How do you feel, friend?
Would you like the short or long answer?
You know we want the long answer, Ed.
He knows better than I do, so I trust his gut.
Even though Shaq and Gina are 2 of the 15 executive producers, I also don't blame them for the random cameo another EP made during an episode.
You're good, man. You are good.
All right, Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon wrote a vegan cookbook. He answered false.
I never wrote a book. I never wrote a cookbook. I definitely never wrote a vegan cookbook.
Kevin Bacon was Lucky 13's original solo host, and I think the show would have worked better that way. As entertainers, I generally find both Shaq and Gina Rodriguez to be funny and charming, just not together as quiz show co-hosts, it turns out. I get that she's short and he's tall, and obviously that's hilarious, but their interactions feel canned and their banter gets recycled throughout the season. But when the duo carries out individual hosting duties, it doesn't often go much better. Are Hulu's captions trying to get him canceled, or did Shaq just call that woman a dirty little astronaut? I've been very critical of Lucky 13 throughout this entire video, so now that we're at the end and most people probably aren't watching anymore, let me say something nice. Ish. If you like learning, then there are 26 perfectly good true or false factoids to mine out of every excruciatingly long episode. I did learn stuff while watching, like that the cardboard box is in the National Toy Hall of Fame. I learned that starfish don't have brains, that it's legal, but frowned upon, to drive barefoot in all 50 states. I learned that Jason Momoa's real name isn't Myron Dorfmeyer, and a bunch of other stuff too. Would I have had more fun browsing Wikipedia until I learned 26 new facts? Probably. The show is not fun to sit through, even with the ability to scrub. With every minute I spent watching Lucky 13, I felt unluckier. A few years back, Cherries Wild went sour fast. True or false? It's time we accept that sodas don't make good game shows and let the cereals have a try.